Welcome back. We're still talking about the economic challenges in the country. So, Olatunji, let's, as we said, let's try and get it to the barest minimum. MPR is 14% interest rates. Now, if you go to the banks, you're saving your money, you get like 2 to 7% interest on whatever you save. Then, if you're borrowing,
that's to encourage savings.
If you're borrowing, yes. you're paying back at between 20 and 28%.
26%
today.
Okay. Yeah. I'm saying between 20 and 28. Okay. So within that range.
The risk rating.
Yes. But while that is, the small and medium enterprises still have to survive. Government keeps talking about we will go through the SMEs, we have to build up the SMEs, we have to fix the SMEs. But how can the SMEs get cheap funds to run their businesses? We're talking about local spending is low. Okay. I mean, I know a friend who makes shoes. His name is Biodun. He's looking for resources, looking for raw materials. There's nowhere to borrow money. So he has to sell to be able to buy materials. Sure. But he's not selling.
And if he has to borrow now at this rate,
so how can all of this?
There's no economy that lives the SMEs and triumphs. It's not possible, because the SME is actually the engine room of every economy. For instance, at times when I hear government talk some policies, I just sit and laugh. Recently, the government said they want to employ 500,000 youths into education and into education sector. That's not the solution to the Nigerian economy. Because you are employing this Nigerian youth that you want to employ, and put in, where is the classroom you want to put them? Why not train them and put them and give them financial backing and make them entrepreneurs? Fine, imagine government does that 500,000 students, 500,000 youth every year, and that is done like 2 times in a year, maybe 2 times in a year, that's 1 million. If you empower 1 million Nigerians by giving them cheap, not this MPR, this banking, because they won't even give you loan. If you go to the bank, they won't even give you loan. So we're looking at government intervention fund directly targeted towards the SMEs.
Now, if you have 1 million, to the UWIN project. Now, the Minister of Finance talked about the fact that most of the money that were given out during the UWINs have not been returned, and all of that. So you're talking about UWIN again, but in a different, maybe a larger scale. Money. But where will government get the funds to do that? That's the question they'll be asking you.
Okay, what about the money that have been mopped up from corruption, from TSA, from what are they doing with the money? Do you understand? We are looking at spending ourselves out of recession. Keeping fund at this hour at this state of the economy is not the solution. Now imagine if government empowers 1 million Nigerian youth, and each of them employing 5 people. In that you have created 6 million jobs. These 6 million people will have wives, we have husbands, we have children, so the money keeps going, and the economy will come back alive. So these rates,
and they'll pay taxes as well.
We'll pay taxes. That's revenue for government also. And again, we are indirectly reducing the so-called unemployment army, reserved army. If youth are there, they are not doing anything. In the morning they wake up, no job. They just by the ground. Somebody will say, okay, carry placards, come and do this, I'll give 500, 1,000 naira per day. They will do it. But if I have my job, I know that I have future. I know that I'm growing towards an economy, towards a particular point. Automatically, my incentive to being maybe an avenger or an OPC will actually reduce.
Okay, one second. Hold on. Let me take this to Tokwe. Tokwe, we're talking about the SMEs here, but let's bring in the others who have worked and have not been paid their salaries. They are being owed salaries, so they don't buy food, they don't buy clothes, they hardly pay their house rent. Some for months. In some states, they've not been paid their salaries. And how would all of this, with increasing rates, help them? They are under pressure. So how would they survive?
Well, okay, I think the whole idea behind increasing MPR is to try and slow down inflation. It is doubtful if that's going to be achieved in the first place. So for those who are not getting salaries, perhaps life will just be tougher. I don't know how people do it. Most of our states are owing 5 months, 6 months, some 9 months. Some have been paying half salary to workers for the past 2 years. It's wonderful, However, what we have also noticed is that many of those states, the accoutrements, the appurtenances of office that are due to the politicians are still very much intact. It occurred to me that perhaps we're paying, even just driving here this morning, that perhaps we're paying the real price for our past and present profligacies. There's no country I've been in the world where government people spend money on themselves like they do in Nigeria. I mean, those big cars we buy for ourselves and those huge offices we like to dwell in, those luxuries, those first-class business tickets and so on. And some of them, the government has tried to curb them. There's the efficiency unit in the Ministry of Finance and so on. But it's not quite, we're not seeing the impact yet. And in fact, some of them, it's difficult for them to get to that point of actually curbing those excesses. Apart from that, you hear what's going on in the House of Reps, where about 481 billion was said to have been added to the budget at the budget padding. I mean, for every such inordinate actions, there are reactions, and there's a price to pay. But I want to take this opportunity to slightly disagree with Mr. Dotun there, because I talk about cliches. Perhaps our biggest problem in this country, on this economy, is that we easily fall into cliches. We have this idea that all our youth need is finance. It is very wrong. In fact, I've done some analysis in the past whereby we say, look, some of the biggest companies in the US and all these places that we like to look to, many of those boys didn't go looking for finance. When Steve Jobs was going to start, he didn't look for finance. What he had was ideas. When Zuckerberg wanted to start this company, when all these guys and Steve Case and all that, when these guys started their business, what they had was ideas, not finance, but they had the ideas within a conducive environment of people that can spend. And therefore, even some of them who actually raised finance not long after they started, they raised from family and friends. But right now, in fact, the extended family system of Nigeria is shutting down, whereby your brother or your distant cousin calls you for money like they do every month, and you just say, look, my friend, I have my issues to sort out. So we have to be very careful about that. The whole idea that once government calls a number of youth, like they did with UWIN, like they did under Shopee, under all sort of this, they never quite work, So the point is that could be the point number one. Okay, fine, we want to create entrepreneurship. And if you look at the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, which is another major global thing that they do, Nigeria is seen to be one of those countries that has the highest ratio of entrepreneurs. Whether Nigerian women, Nigerian youth, they came here, they did their survey. As bad as things are, already we know that most Nigerians are very quick to go into entrepreneurship. But let's not push it. Let's not begin to believe our own lies. The point is that the money the point there's a dysfunction in the economy. The point is that the system is broken, and there's a need for us to go back and say, okay, where did this system break? How do we get started all over again? And that's where government needs to be responsible, because we have seen a scenario where the government actually takes that as an opportunity and say, look, don't worry, look,